Today we are discussing WhatsApp etiquettes. Have you been there when you started focusing on some task and then your phone started buzzing like toot, 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 toot? Yes, you have been there, I have been there, we all have been there. So today we are discussing what to do and what not to do on WhatsApp. My name is Shammy, welcome to my channel, and without further ado, let's dive in. Tip number 1, basic manners. When you are trying to communicate to someone for work, ask them before you do so. Some people might not be comfortable to communicate via WhatsApp. Normally, emails are the standard communicating factors. And if they're not comfortable via WhatsApp, don't do that. But if they say yes, go ahead, and you know what to do. Also, when you add someone to a group, please introduce them. It's important to introduce to someone who comes into a new group, so it is equally important on a WhatsApp group. Tip number 2 is group size. Group size matters. If it's a 5 to 10 people group, it's okay. But if it's like 50 other people and they're messaging back and forth, it is annoying sometimes. So what happens, people are generally busy, they mute this kind of group usually. But if you don't want them to mute the group, try to send a message in one block and only say about work matters, so they know it is super important to get the notification. If they feel like it is not important and you are bothering them with your messages or flooding them with messages, they will mute the group instead. Tip number 3, short-term group and long-term group. Sometimes we are organizing an event and that becomes a short-term group because this is not the main group. The group is created only for that particular event. When the event is over, leave the group or you delete the group. It's better. Otherwise, people will have so many groups and they start communicating in different groups and you will not have any track of the group. Tip number 4 is content of the group. Sometimes we have a work group and sometimes we have an unofficial group. So leave the unofficial matter for unofficial group and don't discuss anything irrelevant in the work group. So with the name of the group, we are not confused what to do in that group. And if you are a participant in a group, you are not the creator, before you send a message, you try to read that message and their guideline, which is generally described in the description box of the group. And you go there and you read the group details, and then you will know what to do and what not to do. If it's a large group, normally it's a small group, there is no guideline, but you can always have your sixth sense and common sense to apply in this regard. Tip number 5 is timings of the messages. Sometimes we send a message at 2 in the morning to somebody. Do you really think it is appropriate to send a message at 2 in the morning for some work-related matter? You can do that in the morning or you can do that in the evening or before work hour finishes. For instance, I work with some group of people and they're generally active in the late night, so I don't mind when they send me a message. But if somebody out of that group send me a message at 11 p.m. or 2 in the morning, I'll be super annoyed. So there are a lot of people who gets annoyed. Sometimes they don't express, but they have a negative impression about you that you have no common sense about the timing or whatsoever. Tip number 6, reply expediently. People are trying to communicate via WhatsApp because it's an instant messaging app and they are trying to receive an instant reply from you. If it's an email, you can wait for a day or a half a day, but if it's in WhatsApp message, try to reply quickly, because they're expecting a quick reply. But if you are expecting some unnecessary reply during a work hour at a heavy schedule time, busy time, it's not appropriate of you or nice of you. So try to keep in mind that you're trying to communicate via WhatsApp to a professional. Only send the necessary words and only send the necessary stuffs, and they can see it. You are not killing a lot of time and giving them quick reply. I try to reply quickly, but sometimes if somebody is trying to bother me with a lot of messages, unnecessary messages, I don't reply quickly because they need to understand they're killing my time during my work hour. Tip number 7 is avoid private conversation in a formal group. Sometimes we have friends or family in a formal group and we're not supposed to discuss our private matters, but sometimes we don't keep in mind and we start talking about our private matters. For instance, we have a dinner plan and we're talking about our dinner in that formal group. You don't have to do that. You can talk about the dinner plan in a private message. You can directly message them, you can call them, and you can do that. So avoid any kinds of personal communication, personal or private matters in a formal group or any kind of formal group. Tip number 8 is stop flooding messages. We sometimes send messages like, hi, we need to talk, we need to discuss this, is it okay? And we send all these separate messages and their mobile is like tung 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 tung. It is annoying. If you have to say something, you can draft one single message and you can say pretty much anything. For instance, I'm sending a message to a colleague of mine. I'm saying, hi, I need to talk to you and I wanted to discuss this, and do you think it is okay? I'm expecting a reply from you. Please reply me at your convenience. And this can be only one message, so we are not bothering them with, we're not flooding them with messages, and they will be less annoyed even if they're annoyed with my messages. So try to not flood with messages to other people. Tip number 9, participate in group conversations. Sometimes there are a lot of people in a group, and why they're in that group? Because everybody is expecting a reply from you. So maybe some project we're discussing about something, and then some participants can be totally silent. They're like a ghost participant in there. They have no participation in whatsoever. So try to communicate, try to participate sometimes even if you're bothered. So you don't have to reply, like actively reply to all the messages, but you can say in one opinion, like this is in my opinion, this is what I think. You are there for a reason. People did not add you for no reason. Tip number 10 is be careful what you say. Because it's a WhatsApp and sometimes we think it's personal and private. Yes, it can be private, but it can also be professional, it can be formal, it can be family, it can be super personal with your loved ones. But try to remember always, it's dangerously easy these days to take a screenshot and just send it to the other people. So keep your views polite, diplomatic and straightforward, but in a way you are not hurting any other person. Sometimes if you're disagreeing with some point that some other people has shared, you can always say that I'm sorry, I don't necessarily think the same way, but I appreciate your feedback and I think this way we can do that project, or you can do this, and this way we can bring a win-win situation for everybody. And if you're still around, we have a bonus for you, and that is respect. Respect is something that we can keep all the time. For respecting someone, they don't have to be senior to you. You can respect everybody. You can respect the animals, you can respect the trees, plants, your house, your well-being. You can respect yourself. So be respectful, be mindful, and once you keep the respect in mind, you will realize that no matter it's a formal group or an informal group or a family group, you can maintain a stable balance all the time. So this was our top tips for WhatsApp etiquette. Though we are making only professional etiquettes today, someday maybe we can make top WhatsApp etiquettes both personal and professionally. Let us know in the comments below if you have your own personal tips so we can include them in future. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.